Excuse me, I just burped. When you get your real estate license, you don't have to decide, is it a commercial license or a residential license? It's just a license. You can sell anything in the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I assume that most states are very similar. But Pennsylvania is my state, so I'm going to talk specific about this state. There's no determining factor. Like, your license doesn't say one and not the other. But in reality, they're very, very different. Farms have all kinds of different nuances. They have different financing. They have different laws and regulations regarding what you can farm and what the zoning is and all that kind of stuff. I've never sold a farm, so I wouldn't know how to sell a farm. I concentrate mostly on residential, so I know how to sell residential. There are some people that focus mostly on commercial, and commercial is a whole different world. They do things a lot differently. What's the difference between commercial and residential? Let's talk about it for a second, because there's a huge difference, but it's also a blurry difference. Selling commercial and selling residential require the same real estate license. And there's no strict definition of what commercial property is versus residential. So sometimes residential agents can do what we call resimercial. So I sell mostly residential, but every once in a while I'll sell something that's like a pizza shop on the bottom and 2 apartments on top. So technically that's commercial, but we call it resimercial. But if you're going to really do commercial stuff like strip shopping centers and 10-year leases with national chain corporations and high-rise office buildings, you're probably going to want to work for a commercial broker because they do things a lot differently. 3 of the main differences that I see are that many commercial brokers do not use a multiple listing service. They don't use an MLS. It's a lot more who you know, keeping up with your clients, a lot of calling people and research and finding out in the area who might be interested, connecting with businesses, that kind of thing. The other difference is that in commercial, it is very typical for the agents to get the parties together, get them to what we call a meeting of the minds, but then hand it over to the attorneys to write up the actual contracts. And the process is a lot longer typically than a residential process is. And the last main difference is that commercial deals are often huge money, way bigger than our normal residential deal, because we could be dealing with 10 or 20-year leases or multi-million-dollar office buildings, big deals. So the money can be really, really good, but what you also have to remember is that those deals can take a long time to close and can fall apart. I've heard someone say once that in order to be in commercial, you have to have a really strong stomach, because you could be working on a deal for years and it could be worth lots of money to you, but then it falls apart and you get nothing. So there are definitely pros and cons to both, and I think that most people choose one versus the other for reasons other than just the money. I have a commercial broker as a friend, and she went into commercial because she knew she didn't want to work nights and weekends. She wanted to be available for her family. So commercial is more of a 9 to 5-ish, where residential, people want to see property when they're not working, when they're off or on vacation. So we tend to work more around the clock. There are definitely things that you need to consider and explore in deciding on whether you're going to get into commercial or residential. But the thing that you can relax about is you don't have to decide now. Once you're in class, you can start asking your instructor. You're going to learn a little bit about both, and then you can start asking more questions, interviewing different kinds of brokers, and talking to agents in the field so that you can make sure you choose the one that's best for you. This might be it. Hello, can I help you?